Hello and welcome to the Roughneck Minute, a Movies by Minute podcast where we go over the movie Starship Troopers, 1 minute at a time. I'm your host, Matthew.
And I'm your other host, Johann.
And we are at minute 40...
Minute 50.
Yes, minute 50. Sorry, I haven't been too on the ball with these minutes, have I?
No. But we say when it begins and when it ends. So
that's true.
A little bit more important.
This minute begins with a video or a screen of Johnny's mother and father, and ends with Rico looking out to the distance, contemplating something that Dizzy just told him.
Yep. So, the beginning is when the dad tells Johnny, it's good to see you, son.
Yeah.
Or, how are you, son? The dad is, I know we've mentioned it before, but the dad is like super endearing and way better than the script was. He's one of the ones that they changed kind of the appeal of.
Mm-hmm.
But because in the script, it kind of gave... It made you side with Johnny with his decision to run away.
Yeah.
But this one, it's always... The actor just brings a lot of heart for the father.
It really does. It kind of makes me really sad what happens to him as well, too, just because in the book, the dad actually has a really cool ending.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to tell you that?
Yeah, I definitely want to go over that.
Okay. Well, basically, so instead of we all know what's happening. Again, this is a 20-year-old movie. We're gonna spoil it for you if you haven't seen it, because you've probably already seen it if you're listening to this, especially if you're listening to this. Anyway, Johnny's parents die, but in the book, what happens to Johnny's dad is, or Johnny doesn't even know what happens to his parents. He assumes that his mom and dad are dead. But later on, I want to say in like the last quarter of the book, he finds out that his dad is actually alive and also is in the MI.
What?
Yeah, he's in the MI. And at the very end of the book, right before Johnny is, the leader of, Rico's Roughnecks. He's the squad leader. I'm sorry, he's the commander of Rico's Roughnecks, and his dad is in his platoon. Like
he's a rook?
Yeah, he's a rook. Actually, towards the at the very, very end, I think he's Private Rico. His dad is.
Oh, that is so rad.
Yeah, and in the book, Johnny always kind of gets the shakes before. Oh, that's another thing we'll get to when we get to the drop. But in the book, they don't have like drop ships. They actually go out kind of like ODST in Halo.
Oh, that is so rad.
It is much better. But whenever whenever Johnny gets into his shell, is what they call it, he gets the shakes, and he doesn't stop with the shakes until he's actually fired out. But in the very, very end, his dad puts his hand on his shoulder, and the shakes stop. So he's okay now. It is such a great ending to that book.
Oh my god, that is such a really good ending.
And it makes me really sad too, because this dad, I mean, it would be awesome at the very end, instead of like it was Zim that got the bug, it was his dad.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah, it was all the work of like a Private Rico.
Yeah.
And then they get confused, and then they realize they're talking about the dad.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would.
But yeah, because this is going to be the last time, guys, that we actually see the parents on screen. We don't see them ever again in any other movies, because this is what we're going to see in this minute is pretty much their death. Well, an implication of their death.
Yeah.
So we continue on. Rico says that it's not really working out. I was hoping I could come home. And his mother instantly just says, yeah, of course. And also Mr. Rico looks kind of happy. Not like, smug happy. Like he should be. Like, haha, I knew it, you little bastard. You're not going to make it in the MI. No, he looks happy that his son's coming home.
Yeah. So, yeah, Johnny says, I made a mess of things. I've been so stupid. And then the father cuts in. He's just like, and he says, don't talk like that. Get yourself home as fast as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Then the mom says, we'll all have dinner. I'll fix your favorite. And then the father says, yeah, we'll talk it out, have a good glass of wine, and, well, we love you, son.
Aww.
Yeah, so it seems like maybe in the script, the way it was written was just that the dad kind of learned that lesson that he was pushing Rico or Johnny too far. Like
Yeah.
how hard he was, and he realized that kind of when Johnny left, that he realized like maybe the way he was raising him wasn't right, and so now he's just glad to have Johnny back.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way as well too. Like, especially in the movie, like the way he says, that final "We love you, son," is just a hard hitting thing. Especially for me too, just because again, this movie came out after my dad died. So when Rico got to see that before his dad died, it was kind of a little tinge of like sadness that came for me.
Yeah,
But
because in a way Johnny did get closure.
yeah, he got closure, and I mean, I got closure too. I said goodbye to my dad the day before he died as well too. But he was on a hospital bed, writhing in pain, and my grandpa took me away basically.
Yeah,
I got to say goodbye to him. It just sucked.
yeah,
But continuing on, the screen kind of gets a little weird. It starts getting darker, and both his mom and his dad are like commenting on it. Like it's getting kind of dark. It looks like rain.
yeah. I actually noticed that Johnny's dad. He's in the outside of that house this time,
It looks like, yeah.
or maybe on the complete opposite end of the house.
Yeah, as I said, they probably have different separate phones in the house that are like video connected feeds and whatnot, so they can talk to different people, or kind of like how we have different TVs in our house.
Yeah,
More than one TV? Wow, you guys must be rich.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, there you go. It hit.
yeah. We have two. Nobody has two TVs.
He's pulling your leg.
Yeah. No, I'm actually thinking about the way they're standing right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm wondering if they actually have their backs to each other.
They may actually
Because there's that scene, remember, where they were kind of in that kitchen area,
uh-huh.
and there was that tree on the left hand side.
Yeah.
And now it's in the back back behind the left of the dad. So the mom is probably in the kitchen, the dad's like on the other wing of the house.
That's exactly what I was thinking too, because right now I'm at 49:26, and the mom's face is a little brighter. She has a little more light on her than the dad does. So it's probably something's reflecting on her face a little more, or sun's still coming in through that way. Now this kind of bugs me a little bit too. It kind of bugged me back in the day as well too. So this would be like if a solar eclipse was happening. This is implying that whatever is going to be hitting, BA is directly in the line of the sun.
It's possible.
Okay, but
No,
yeah,
well, okay, not directly in the line of the sun, but
directly overhead. What I mean,
well,
it's blocking out the sun.
yeah, I'm trying to think of the trajectory of it. Not necessarily.
Okay.
Because the mother still has light and the father doesn't.
Yeah.
So that means that the shade is coming from one particular side, but not hers. So it may just start to be covering the what's it called? The sunlight. Because remember the asteroid, which is technically now a meteor,
Mm-hmm.
it is huge.
Yeah.
So it could be at that point where it's just about to cause impact, that it will cover one side real quick before the other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like it's coming from the sun, but it's just at that point where it's completely covering that area.
Okay. That's kind of weird still, I think, because, I don't know. I just always thought of this as like an eclipse kind of thing. And as I'm stopping it like second by second, I actually noticed right before the screen goes a little wonky, and like completely snows out, that the mom and dad open their mouths a little bit. Like maybe they notice that they're getting hit now.
Oh, okay, I see that.
Yeah, so like you can barely, like it's all distorted beforehand, but you see their mouths open up, like if they're gonna say something or like scream in unison.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
But no, but I still think he just didn't, or it still just didn't cover out the sun itself. It's just covering out the area.
okay. That makes a little more sense then. But yeah, so the communications gets knocked out. Transmission terminated. So unfortunately, the transmission got terminated, as the computer says, and it says due to atmospheric interference.
Mm-hmm. And there's a little symbol of the MI.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 49:39, right where he picks up his duffel bag,
mm-hmm.
Johnny's still struggling with his back. So I guess we were just a little bit wrong on how long ago he had his lashes.
Oh my gosh, I just noticed that. Good
Yeah,
eye,
he
man.
he does a little wince.
Yeah, maybe he has like, you know what I'm thinking? Maybe, just maybe, if it's a public, disgrace or a public whipping or something like that, something that you have been given because of a punishment, maybe they don't heal that like they do with the Breckenridge's arm or Ace's hand.
Yeah, like they make you deal with the punishment.
Yeah, that's what that sounds pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I think it is a lot better if it were that way, because then not only do you, because Johnny, first off, he's resigning because of the shame.
Yeah.
But the fact that there is the residual punishment that goes on, not just the shame.
Yeah.
That's like you can't try and use your mind to try and block out the shame. There's some people that they can make it seem like, oh, it's not their fault. Basically, is it narcissistic or sociopathic behavior? It's narcissism, right?
I believe so.
That everybody's kind of like you kind of victimize yourself type of thing.
Definitely, yeah, that's narcissism.
Yeah. So someone with like a high narcissistic attitude wouldn't be able to get away from the pain itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even though you can block it mentally, physically you won't be able to block it.
And also it's like a lingering reminder of what he did as well too. Like every time that pain comes on, every time he gets into a shower and it burns his back, or anytime he puts on a sweater and some of the blood leaks through and he has to pull it off. I'm thinking of like when I got my tattoo on my back and everything, and having to change the pads, having to put on a t-shirt or something like that. It hurt so much, and every single time I was like, but it's gonna look cool.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead. Last week I just got a tattoo on my rib cage.
Yes, you did.
So I'm pretty much only wearing dark shirts at this point.
Yeah, because then you get that weird like plasma blood and ink like run off. It's all gross and everything.
Yeah, I still get it, especially like when I go to sleep, and like you get that that wake up kind of in the middle of the night. You just feel like that wet where the tattoo is, and you're just like, that's uncomfortable.
You gotta go change it. I gotta wipe off my shirt. You gotta wipe off my skin. What would be like a 2 minute, I gotta get up and pee, turns into like a 10-minute, let me make sure my stuff's clean.
Yeah. Well, I got this stuff called Skin Fix.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 99.5% natural ingredients. It's like lanolin and orange peel. It makes it actually feel super nice when you put it on.
Huh.
Yeah. It's actually pretty awesome, so I think I'm going to keep using that stuff for myself at this point.
That's awesome. Yeah, next time I get some ink, I'm going to probably use some of that as well, too.
Yeah, you should get something for your son.
Oh, I probably should. Just actually, my wife does want to get his birthday tattooed somewhere on her as well, too, but her thing is because she's allergic to metal and whatnot, like she can't wear jewelry at all.
Oh, and she's allergic to shellfish.
She's allergic to shellfish as well, too, yeah.
That's a very big problem if you're going to get a tattoo.
Exactly.
Yep.
So we're not sure she can even get one at all.
Unless you get the, you'd have to special order it, but there is vegan ink.
Oh, that's a good idea, honey. Vegan ink. If you hear her right now, she's actually right next to me, ladies and gentlemen. My wife actually sits next to me while I record. She's being very sweet and very nice and not click-clacking today. Oh, she's telling me to hurry it up. Because she wants to click-clack. But let's continue on then. Rico starts walking out, and Dizzy stops him. Tells him, hey, Rico, you go down Washout Lane, you only prove one thing. What's that? that you don't have what it takes to become a citizen.
Yep. Hold on, I'm just watching that scene real quick because she like really gets in his face, and the way she just delivers that line.
Yeah.
Like she makes that direct eye contact, and then when she leaves his gaze, like that scene is just great because then you can tell that Johnny just realized like, oh crap, she's right.
Yeah, but he's like, you know what? I made my decision. I'm going to stick with it. I gotta go. I don't have what it takes to be a citizen. I want to go home.
Yep. So that's kind of where the minute ends. It looks like Rico takes a gulp. I guess is trying to probably swallow his pride because all his pride was set on being a citizen, being with Carmen, and now all of that is gone.
Yeah. I do like the framing too of that shot too with Diz and Rico because the MI flag is right behind them.
Yeah. You know, it's one of the things I really notice about this movie that you don't get in a lot of movies, especially in this era.
What's up?
A lot of the movies are framed for full or widescreen, not full screen.
Yeah. All of these are like theatrical.
Yeah,
They're
because
go ahead.
it's one of the things that they got rid of later on in a bunch of movies is when they were shot to incorporate that some of the films will be released in like full screen, which is where it's that square format. The faces are so close to each other because they have to get them in at the same time. But this one, even though she's there, it's like they don't seem like they're right up against each other and like only 3 inches away. She seems to be kind of off to the further back and looking back at him, which puts her in the same frame, but it's not like they're right next to each other.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I definitely do. Yeah, like a lot of movies, back in the day, especially like in the '90s, late '90s, maybe mid '90s as well too, were edited and also formatted for TV viewing, VHS viewing, and that meant that you only had like a 4:3 aspect ratio.
Yeah,
and it was disgusting.
Yeah, and then you still had the square TV, and then if you put in the full screen, you had the black bars on the top and the bottom, and a bunch of people complained about it, so that's why they released them in full screen and widescreen, so you can purchase either one.
Yep.
But there was always that point where they tried to film it, so then it would be easy to cut down to a full screen.
Yep.
And this one, you can cut it down to a full screen. You probably cut off like a bit of Johnny's ear, maybe. But just the way that they framed it, where Diz is a little bit further back from the camera, they weren't just right next, like their faces weren't right next to each other, but they were still framed in a shot together. So I thought that shot was kind of cool the way it was done.
Definitely. Well, that's actually where that minute ends. Do you have anything else you want to talk about this minute at all?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, let's pick it up for Friday's Friday's episode as well too.
This episode comes out right before Thanksgiving. So to everybody listening, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys, from the Roughnecks. That's awesome. Yeah. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I actually don't know. I know I'm working.
Oh, well.
I work at Amazon, so it's going to be the start of all the sales and all that, so it gets real busy.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, you probably do get paid double time as well, too, because it's one of those days.
Yep.
But I believe we're having dinner on, I believe not Friday, but Saturday. We're going to have some turkey dinner, so if you want to come by, if you're off, or, later on, we can definitely have you over, too.
Yeah, sure. That sounds great.
Yeah.
I know Saturday I'm definitely working.
Well, afterwards you can definitely come by and have at least a plate or something like that too. If you'd like.
Everything after Black Friday for me is going to be a hellish schedule.
Yeah, same here, man.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's end it there. Johann, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitch and Instagram at j-d26. And you can also find me on Twitter on OMG It's Johann.
And you guys can find me at AltTabMatt pretty much anywhere on the internet. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. See pictures of my son. You guys can follow the show at the Roughneck Min on Twitter, MIN. You can go to our website, theroughneckminute.podbean.com, for any old show notes or past episodes. You can also go to our Facebook group, the Roughneck Minute Billet, Billet, to continue the conversation and talk about nice aspect ratios. Please go ahead and subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, what have you, any podcatcher you can find. But guys, again, thank you so much for listening to us. Happy Thanksgiving from both of us, and I've been one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I've been your other host, Johann.
And we'll see you on the Pounce Strippers.
You said pounce again.
Meow meow.